Hi everyone. It's time for today's video based on New York Times connection game. It's basically a game where you create four groups of four words from 16 given words. You have seen the thumbnail, so you know what the first group we are discussing is. Watch to the end of this video, and I will also tell you the other three groups of four words, what each word means, and what they have in common. Let's do today's words. So plant growth is bloom, right? So bloom is a beautiful word. It means when the flowers bloom, like in spring, flowers bloom, right? So anytime you have a kind of a bloom situation, you have a beautiful growth. And it's usually a positive thing, right? So it's a verb and a noun, but the thing about it is that they're similar. They don't have many different, but like you could say business is blooming, which means, business is doing really great. She's just blooming in her youth. She's becoming more beautiful. So bloom is always connected to things becoming, more beautiful, more prosperous, growing, prospering. So yeah, the flowers are blooming, or the business is blooming, and you could just say, the flowers are in full bloom, right? So that's kind of a noun type thing. So blooming and being in bloom, right? So another word for plant growth is bud, and bud is also a verb and a noun. Things are, it's budding, my business is budding, things are starting. Now, the thing about bloom versus bud is that bud is something like small, like budding, like little buds. They're tiny little things. Whereas bloom is this sort of a expensive growth. Bud is just kind of like starting, it's just budding, like maybe your English is blooming, but if somebody is just like learning English, just not at the intermediate level like you, they're just budding, right? Now, I wanted to take this time and tell you that I really appreciate you watching these videos and coming back and working on your English. And I wanted to say that if you get frustrated, if things become hard, know that English is a hard language to master. It's easy to learn, excuse me. It's easy to learn, but hard to master because there are so many complex words and there are so many, anytime you learn a rule, then the next day when you want to apply that rule, you discover that you can't because there's an exception. And you have no idea what exceptions are. All you can do is just keep going and keep learning. So if things get really hard, just, keep going. And if you fall down, do what I did for the last 40 years. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Keep your chin up and know that in this path, your English is going to be better than the majority of Americans and the British, the people who speak the language as their first language, because they have never learned it the way you're learning. So just keep working, keep coming back to my channel, keep watching my videos, comment, say what you like, like the videos so I can feel encouraged to keep going. And the thing is, I really appreciate your working with this and just have fun. So when something is budding, it's like at the beginning, whereas bloom is much more sort of in full bloom, right? And, you could just say his mustache is budding. It's just kind of like, my mustache is in full bloom. Their mustache is budding. Just a couple of hairs, right? That's budding. But bud is also sort of a slang or informal for buddy. Buddy. What are you doing, buddy? Buddy means friend, right? And usually it's like, what's up, buddy? And the short for it is bud. what's up, bud? And it's usually a positive thing when you and your buddy are doing something, or your best buddies with somebody. But sometimes in some contexts it's like, back off, buddy. That buddy, when there's somebody stranger or somebody hostile tells you buddy, that's not good. That's not a friendly thing. And so the next group, this next word for plant growth is shoot. And I haven't really used shoot for like that, but I could say that shoot for that growth thing is the word offshoot. And an offshoot is usually like a child of something. This is an offshoot of, this branch is an offshoot of that bank. This program is an offshoot. Offshoot means a child, a sort of a, you know, something that comes after something is an offshoot. So that's just, I think this plant growth thing has to do with offshoot or shoot. But shoot itself is a really crazy word. I mean, it has so many meanings, right? So shoot, like when you're playing basketball or hockey, they shot, and shot is the past tense of shoot. And shoot, man, shoot, as in, shoot is not necessarily scoring, but going for the goal, it's shoot. Maybe you shot. But then shoot means bang, bang. You shoot somebody. And usually it's with a gun with bullets. It's shoot, right? And then there's expressions like, oh my God, I'm having such a hard day. Just shoot me. Shoot me, as in like kill me with bullets, right? Shoot me. Oh my God, that's just, my mom is coming to visit and I am not prepared. Just shoot me, right? Shoot me, as in, that's that expression. But then shoot also means doing it with camera, right? You're like, wow, let me shoot this image. Let me shoot this panorama. It is so beautiful. This volcano is amazing. You're shooting, right? Then we have expressions like shoot your mouth, which is not a good thing. When somebody shoots their mouth, it's like they don't shut up, right? So that's shooting. And in terms of, so the past tense of shoot is shot, right? And shot, now again, we shot, right? Shot. That's a good shot. You got to be careful again with short vowels and long vowels. Shut. Shut the door. Shut, S-H-U-T, short, shut the door. You don't say shut the door, shut. But then we can have shout. So that means to yell, right? That's a completely different thing. So there is shot. That's your best shot, right? That is your best shot. That means that is your best possibility to win this situation. That man got shot, as in he was hit by bullets, right? But then you can use shot as a so shot is a past tense of a verb, but it's also a noun, right? Give it your best shot. Shot, that means, let's do shots. You can do that in a bar, which is like drinking some kind of I don't drink, so I don't really know, but let's do shots. Shots for everybody. That's like alcoholic drinks for everybody. But then shot is also, I like that shot. That picture of me that you took me in front of the waterfall, I like that shot. So that's another shot, right? Because that has to do with shooting with camera, shooting with a gun. So it's very complex. You got to really pay attention. And as I said, there's shout, which is ow, or you shout. Don't shout, but don't shout, shut up. So one of them is a long ow, the other is short up. You could say, don't shoot your mouth, don't shout, and shut up. So 3 levels of kind of he just shut his mouth. Then he just kept talking, right? So the last word for plant growth is sprout. Sprout is another thing which is kind of like starting to kind of bud. That bud is sprouting, like, your success is sprouting, kind of like little by little growth little by little. So sprout doesn't have a lot of things, but it's usually about growth and plants. Hey there, friend. Nice to meet you. I am Hamid. Sorry for the interruption. If you are enjoying this video and are looking to take your English fluency and vocabulary to the next level, I've got something special for you. I offer personalized one-on-one coaching sessions tailored to your unique goals and interests. Whether you're focusing on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, or all around communication skills, I'm here to help you master English in a way that's fun and effective. Ready to elevate your English? Click on the link in the description below to book your session with me today. Let's embark on this journey to English mastery together. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more tips and tricks on mastering English. The next group is that these are all musical instruments. The first word is bass. Now, bass as a musical instrument is B-A-S-S. Now, this is where things get really complex because bass also could be B-A-S-E, which is foundation. Like that's where the word basic comes from. But you write bass the same way that you write, you say bass with B-A-S-S, which is an instrument, and B-A-S-E, which is to base something, a foundation of something, right? So a base, and then that base could be a military base. This is a military base here. Or how do you base this argument? Where are you coming from? Where is this? What is this based? And then, as I said, basic. And another musical instrument is a bassoon. It's just a musical instrument. It doesn't have any other meanings. And then harp is another musical instrument. Now, the thing about harp is that harp is usually this musical instrument, which is very beautiful, kind of old, and has the strings. But then harp can means there's a verb harp on. Don't harp on me. She's like, don't annoy me. Don't keep talking about the same thing. That's also calling harping. And the last one is a recorder. It's a musical instrument. And, recorder is, of course, comes from the word record. And I did another video on record, record. And so I told you record and record are they're written the same way. But one of them is a noun and one of them is a verb. So on the record, the stress is on the first syllable, whereas record, can I record this conversation? Record. And record, somebody broke the running record, right? Or on the record, or when you're talking to a lawyer or a police or newspaper or something, and say off the record. That means I don't want you to publish this. I don't want you to let anybody know about this. I don't want you to record this off the record, right? So that means that. But here is, recorder's a musical instrument. I don't know what that musical instrument is, but it comes from the verb record. Then there is this group of words as how fast something is going. So the first one is clip. Now, I've talked about clip before. Clip is usually, I don't really speak like that he clipped something. I don't really know. But clip has so many meanings, right? Clip means, in its simplest form, is to clip something, to cut it, right? But then that's where we have the word video clip, audio clip from like a piece of something, right? So, but clipping here, it means going really fast. But I think clip also means he clipped me, like kind of punched me, right? So that's another word for clip. So how fast is something is going? The next word is pace. So it's not basically going fast, but how fast is something going? So pace is the pace of something, how fast something is going. So, I can speak like this. So that's very slow pace. Okay. I guess we don't like this or that fast pace, right? So that's pace, like how something is delivered. What's the pace? What is the pace of life in a country? In country, everything is so slow. That's pace. What about New York City? In New York City, everybody's running around. They don't know what you do. That's fast pace, right? So pace is how fast something is going. But also pace is a verb, and it means usually like pacing back and forth. He was just pacing back and forth, which means walking back and forth. Walk back, forth. That's pacing. Stop pacing, for God's sake. I'm trying to think, you know, pacing. You're just pacing. But then, so the next one is rate. So rate, again, is the speed. It's how fast is something going. What's the speed? So, at this rate, we will never get to the train station. You're walking so slowly. Hey, rate, pace, right? So at this rate, with this rate, but then rate can have other meanings, having that, what's the rate? Like, what is the USD to Mexican peso? What is the rate, right? So it can be rate connected to finances and money. So it could be what's the rate? Also, how much you charge? What's your rate? What is your rate? What is which is short for hourly rate? How much you charge per hour, right? But then it's like at this rate, which is at this speed, or the rate of the game was really slow, or things like that. But then we have the verb to rate, and to rate means, can you rate me? Which is the word from rating. What are the ratings of this show? What is my Uber rating? Oh my God, my Uber rating is so low. Why is my Uber rating so low? Rating comes from rate. You rate something, as in you measure it, and you assess it, and you say, okay, what's your rating on this? Can you rate this? What is your experience of this video, right? From 1 to 100. How do you rate this? Rate me. What is it? Like, what do you like? Rating is always about giving your opinion about something. How does something do? How well does something do? And the last one is speed. How fast something is going, speed, right? This is, low speed, like you have a high speed internet. Otherwise, it would be hard for you to watch this video. So high speed, low speed. Now, I like you to pay attention and not say something like fast speed, right? Because speed and fast means you can say fast motion, but don't say fast speed, because speed, fast has speed in it. So like when say fast speed, it doesn't really make sense. It's not very correct, although a lot of people use it, but it's wrong. So speed and then speedy. Something is very speedy. That means it's very fast, right? It's like, and then we have things like speed dating, which is like you go meet somebody for 2 minutes and then another person, another. Speed walking, you kind of like jogging, which is really fast. Speed reading, like you read a book and like that's finished. Speed reading. And then speed is, of course, another type of a drug thing. Anyways, so then this group is bring up. So to bring up, what are some of the words for to bring up? Foster. So that's why we have foster parents. The parents that they're not your parents, but and then a child has no parents or that's adopted, was an orphan or something, then they go to a foster parent. So foster, that means that's why they bring them up. But foster it's a verb, which is, can anybody foster this project? Can anybody support this project? I love the way you foster me. It's always about support. It's about helping. So it could be bring up as in terms of foster parents, but it's also fostering. This was really fostering my project, fostering as like really kindly taking care of it. Then we have, for bring up, we have nurse. And that's why we have like nursery or something, which is where children are kept. Of course, nurse, the simplest form of nurse is nurse, doctor, nurse, the woman with the white clothes, usually female. Nurse, she's a nurse. Nurse, can I have another ice cream? Which is, you're a patient, you can't have an ice cream, right? So nurse, so that's the noun nurse, but then to nurse has a lot of meanings. And so that's why, again, bring up is nurse, but also that's why, we have nursery, but also for plants. For plants, you have a nursery, right? It's not only for kids because you're bringing up plants. This is a nursery for, all these different plants. They're nursery. But then we have informal thing. I'm just nursing my drink, which is kind of weird, but nursing your drink means kind of like, you still have your drink, you're drinking it, nursing a drink. But then you can also have, oh my God, I'm nursing this headache, which is I have this headache. You can use nurse with that. Then we have the word for bring up, raise. Now pay attention, because bring up could mean bring up a child, but also means bring up as in to raise it, as in to elevate it. But raise, we actually use it as in brought up. I was raised in a Middle Eastern country, right? Raised, as in I was brought up. That's why bring up and raise are interchangeable there. But raise also means, so we have rise, means going up. Raise means to get something. I am going to raise our flag, put our flag up, right? That's the verb raise. But then, when you play poker, I'm going to raise you. That means like I'm going to put some money on top of your money. But then raise can also be a noun. And that means, can I get a raise? Means, can I get more money? Right? I'm getting $15 an hour. I want to get $17 an hour. So that's a raise. Can I get a raise? But then the raise can also be in other contexts. It's like, I think he just yelled at me to get a raise out of me. To get a raise out of somebody means that they want to provoke them. They want to agitate them. They want to instigate something. I'm just trying to get a raise out of you. Kind of like making you feel something, get impacted by something. And then bring up is also rear. Right here, rear, I was reared in a Catholic family. Rear. So rear, as I said in another video, rear in its simplest form means back, right? The back of something. Rear entrance. Where's the rear entrance? There's some gangster here, one hurt me. Where's the rear entrance? So rear entrance, rear back, right? So rear usually as a noun means back. But then we have the verb, I talked about this. You can rear end somebody. And if you rear God, oh God, man, I got on the way here, I got rear ended, which means somebody hits your car in its back. That's getting rear ended. But then, as I said, it's also bring up is rear, the verb rear. So that's the verb rear, and then the noun is usually back. And then there's also rear as the verb, like suddenly my fear reared its ugly head. Usually it's using to rear its head. It's something head is negative, and it's usually, that's when happens. Then finally, the last group is solar emanations. The first one is a corona. Corona could be like crown, and is a coronal, I think MECME, coronal something activity. But corona, I think it means crown in Latin or something. Another solar emanation is flare. But flare, flare is actually this object that when you get lost at sea, you use flares, these things that they shoot up like candles and they go up in the sky. So the word flare is, FALRE. It means is a solar emanation. But you got to be careful because FLAIR, is, it's like, you have a verb like he has a flair for speaking languages. That means that he has a knack for it, right? Or he's talented, or he has a flair for coming late, which is not a talent, but you could use flair as in knack, as in something that somebody does. So then the next word for solar emanations is light, right? Light. Now light is the thing that you lit up, right? That's light. But you gotta, so light lit up, and light is usually as beautiful thing, and things like brilliant and shiny light. But then like lit up, she got lit up, as in she was so happy, lit up, right? But then light could also mean not heavy, right? Here is War and Peace by Tolstoy for some light reading. That's like 6,000 pages, so it's not light reading. But for a light snack, I had three burgers with shakes. That's not light. So light means the opposite. Or in that sense, we have lightweight, right? Like lightweight champions of the when they heavyweight, lightweight, like heavy and light. And then the thing is that we have another thing, light, that has come recently during the recent years, and I think is usually LITE, and that means not the complete version. So this is Photoshop. This is Photoshop Lite, right? So this is like, it has like 10% of the functionality, or and it's become a funny thing. It's like, well, this is not Hilton. This is Hilton Light, right? So maybe you're in a room that is really doesn't have that such a great experience. And then the final word for solar emanations is radiation. And that means, radiation, sun radiates, but radiation, it's considered a bad thing. You get radiation poisoning, if you will, radiation that it makes you sick. So radiation usually comes with waves, and things that light coming is radiating. But then also radiation in English could be used for, well, and we have radiation for like cancer, you use radiation. But also radiation, the verb radiate, not necessarily is always about light. It could be also about pain. Oh my God, when I got punched, the pain radiated throughout all my body. So that's another one, but you don't use that kind of radiation for pain and things like that. See you tomorrow.